Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora everybody, Che Wilson here from Te Pai Pai Waho, connecting to you tonight through a range of different platforms. And tonight I'm going to share a bit about on the continuation of the WAIRUATANGA series. Going to talk a bit about social media and potential connections to makutu based on behaviour. So, going to talk about that and we'll see where we go. So, ka te ake me I kauatu ana ki koutou, te mauri keirunga, te mauri erangi, te mauri kāputa ki wao ki te whai au ki te ao marama, turuturu ohiti, o ka maua kia tīna, hui e, tāiki e. Tāiki e kia tātou. So, just want to send a big mihi to everybody and wow, pretty wicked storm here over the weekend, and as I was driving up on Friday from Churtimiti, Churmista Waiwai, as I was driving up from Wanganui on Friday, it was getting wet, and then man, that weather when it came, it just hit, and so much so that our whole household had to go and bring in everything, take all our rubbish bins and all of that into the shed and pull our or move our basketball hoop because it'd been blown down, move all our furniture, outside furniture. So it was pretty mean actually, and but it made me think about the autumn heke of the tuna, and normally that would happen in autumn, but the second big rain in a row, I did a few rings around to the different relations to check on, hey, is the tuna doing its heke? And yeah, there was a bit of tuna that started to heke, not a massive heke, not a massive migration out to the sea, but there was enough. So it was interesting to just check in on that based on the read of what the weather's been doing. And a big mihi to all of us as we navigate change, mindful of everybody down in Pornick at the moment, and everybody's got their own views on that, but just mindful of everybody as we navigate change, and tonight as we change into phase 2, and sometimes we make things a bit more complicated than it needs to be, but send some love out to each other and go from there. The other thing I wanted to note is dun, dun. I won't carry on because I'll get carried away. But to see the brother there, Che bro, and man, Dr. Dre last night, and that little bit of piano close to the end straight after Eminem was Che. Actually, the whole performance, just under 15 minutes performance was bloody mint, and really cool to watch. So tonight's kaupapa, social media, and I suppose the question is, can social media be a tool for makutu? That's a big question. And I suppose the first thing is, what is makutu? And makutu is physical or psychological harm that's caused from a distance to someone else. That someone else can place upon someone while not being there and there right next to them. And so makutu is it's connected to many cultures around the world, and we all have our own different translations or different term for it. And in Te Ao Māori, we call it makutu. Often incorrectly translated as witchcraft. And I say incorrectly translated because witchcraft has its own trauma and baggage to it from the Western world. And when you then put all of that onto one of our words, I don't think it's a helpful translation. and others will talk about pointing the bone, the juju, and all of these other terms. But I just wanted to raise a couple of questions and have a bit of a kōrero about the impact of social media, because social media does some amazing things and has an ability to um, share some beautiful things, like last night's pretty cool walk down memory lane. I'm watching Dr. Dre and Snoop Kuri Kuri and all the others. But it also uh, can be a vehicle for danger. And and I just asked the question, can it be used as a tool for makutu? Because there are some really mean things that happen and have caused people to get sick and have caused people to even take their own lives and or die. And what I mean is all of the bullying that can happen, all of the pressure that then is associated with these tools, because they're amazing tools, but we've got to have some rules of engagement, I suppose. And I'm mindful that there are so many keyboard warriors out there, and I've had my share of being naughty and being a keyboard warrior myself. But the more I think about it, I do worry about keyboard warriortanga and how it can really impact and affect the lives of people um, as a result of being able to um, continually pick on and bully people, as well as with all of the harassment that's associated with it. But added to it, the addictive tendencies that come from social media and the whole AI, artificial intelligence, and how the moment you do one thing and watch one thing, then you get all of this stuff piling on. And kia ora, Raybone, first time viewer, tēnā koe. But it's just a worry, because makutu is the ability to psychologically and or physically affect someone else's life. And many people would say that makutu is dead and gone. And others will say, no, it still is very strong and present. And our tupuna did away with many things. And as they did away with many things, they did that, I believe, with the best intention to try and push push some of the negative things that had happened to us to the side. However, I think if we remember the saying that Uncle Tahu would always say, where thought goes, energy flows. And I always used to get the Māori wrong, so I'm going to have to look it up and then remind myself about it next week and share the whakatauaki that he coined about where thought goes, energy flows. And though that English whakatauki is an old one, he had come up with his own te reo Māori one. And the power of thought, and I think of the pāo, i te timatanga ko te ia, mai te ia ko te maara, mai te maara ko te okaro, ka puta ko te kupu e. And what that's talking about is in the beginning, there's here, and then from here, there is mahara. Then from mahara, there is wakaro, which produces kupu. And as I can see, Ani Morris has just noted, he mana tō te kupu. Words have power, and absolutely they do. And they come from these original desires and thoughts and memories, and those memories and how thought can come from a traumatic issue, and how that trauma can then impact on what you then send somewhere. And the big reminder too is that this whole notion of return to sender. And I was always taught, return. If anything happens to you or you go somewhere and you just send it with love and just send it back to where it comes from. I was always taught, so if anything bad happens, even a bad dream, you send it back to wherever it has come from. And in doing that, send it back neutral, send it back with love, not with any barbs or any negative feeling, but return back to sender so that it's done without any harm, but that it neutralizes things so that it doesn't impact on you. And this stuff probably needs a bit of a wānanga and a bit of a panel discussion. But I just thought I'd share it because I saw something really silly today. And it's probably an example of where not enough information can be dangerous, as well as the opposite to that, too much information can be dangerous, or knowledge can be dangerous. And what I mean is somebody was talking about putting a tapu on someone, and the intention may have been positive, I'm unsure, but it can be dangerous when you do those types of things, because when you do something, you have to also then undo it. And that's the biggest issue that my uncle used to always say is the problem when everybody celebrates the splitting of an atom. Yeah, ka pai, then how do you put it back together again? And it's no different to when you do one thing, how do you then rectify it? So I just wanted to share these thoughts around the impact of this tool, which is a wonderful tool for connection, a wonderful tool for democratizing issues and sharing those issues, but it can also be a tool for bullying and sending bad things and bad thoughts, which can then harm people both physically and or psychologically. So I just wanted to share that thought with people, and always remember that we need to be mindful of what we do, what we think, and how it can impact on others. And I'm talking about myself as well. So ka te ake te iwi, e me I kau atu ana, just a little talk tonight on the impact of social media and its connection to makutu. On this episode 6, I think it is, of episode 5, series 6, which is all about WAIRUATANGA. Take care, and we'll catch up with you all next week. Tēnei e me I atu ana, kia wakaere ake e nei kupu, ki te tā uu nui, orangi nui e tu nei, turuturu o witi waka maua kia tīna, tīna, hui e, tāi ki e. Yes, I haven't gotten over that yet. I'm still buzzing from that music. Kia ora tātou.